I'ma tell everybody this, baby. Put you on blast. I can tell by the look in your eye that you don't love me anymore. Lately I've been so unsatisfied, and I can't feel you anymore.
Good afternoon, everyone. If you are looking at this, you are in for a treat today. Marlanna J is coming in today with some beautiful guests. I am so honored to have in my presence none other than the Gap. Actually, it's called Gap X, the band. And they are doing some marvelous things in the cities around your neighborhoods. They're coming live to different events and venues. And they have some new music on the horizon. Everybody Needs to Know is one of their singles out. And I just was honored to get a few minutes of their time to talk with them. And so we're going to dive in a little bit about the band and what they're doing and the singers and all of their music that's coming forward. And of course, some of the former members of the Gap Band are still a part of Gap X. So without further ado,
Dr. Chris Black.
Yeah, hey, that's Chris. Oh, I see you. You want that handsome picture to show up.
Right.
No. I didn't want, because I was on the phone and all of that talking, so I was trying to not, let there be a distraction and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So you all are two other, well, I know your story is a little different, Mac. You came in, people were seeing you do some things overseas in Finland, and you came in and that's how you became a part. Now, Chris, you're part of the original sound, aren't you?
No, so I came in after Robert, one of the brothers, passed away in 2010.
Okay.
So after the original members, but they came together, from after the funeral, and they said, you know what, one of Robert's requests is for them to get back together. So since he passed away, and I was already, had a relationship with a couple of members, I was asked to kind of take Robert's spot back in 2010. So that's kind of when I started.
We're going to introduce to you. I want to go ahead and just give them an opportunity to tell us a little bit about where they came from and how they started. And of course, one of their lead singers and performers, he sounds so wonderful. And you all, if you haven't had a live experience, you need to do it. If they're coming to, matter of fact, where are you going to be next? Where's Gap X going to be next?
Chris, go ahead and let her know.
So some of our next dates is we have some dates coming up: Chicago.
Okay.
We have Myrtle Beach coming up. We have St. Louis coming up. So we have quite a few cities that's going to be coming up over the next month, starting next month to promote the record. So we're really excited about that.
Awesome. And so Chris, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce Chris Black. He is a band member that came in under Robert and Ronnie. When was it Robert that passed in 2010 and Ronnie brought you on?
It was Robert that passed away in 2010. Yes.
Yeah.
So I knew Ronnie. I used to live in Houston, Texas. So he moved to Houston, Texas. So that's how I met him. And I had known Oliver Scott as well. So that's the kind of their relationship there. How I met both of them. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Now, what instrument and what do you do in the band? Come on, Chris, tell me what you do in the band so I know how to scream when I see y'all.
So I play bass guitar.
Okay.
I also handle some of the other technical things, like if it's called stems and tracks and things like that. I also handle those things and making sure that the stage, is how it needs to be as far as where the instruments are and the stage plot. So I kind of handle some of the back end things, and I assist Roman Johnson, which is the music director, I assist him, and also management, I assist him as well. So kind of, I do a couple things.
Hands on deck. All hands on deck. And
All hands on deck.
And I know you get this all the time, Chris. You favor one of the Wilsons, you favor the brothers, get that all the time.
I really don't. I have gotten it, but I don't get it all the time.
Okay.
But I have gotten it over the years since I've been, dealing with the brothers and the band. Yeah.
Awesome. None other than Max C. Now you got to tell us, Max, you are a vocal or a lyricist, I would say, because you did some things coming up. You did some work with major artists. You did some background with major artists. And just tell us a few artists that you worked with before you even started doing some stuff in Finland. You were working with some major groups right here in the United States. Who were some of the artists that you worked with?
Well, I mean,
Name
basically,
too, Max. Give us your full
hey,
name.
my name is Charles Salter, aka Max C. They call me Max C, Charles to the maximum. That's where the name comes from. I got that from a DJ friend in Europe, so it stuck with me, and I've been using it ever since. Actually, I was discovered by Baby Gap of the Gap Band. So when he was talking about he joined, when Chris talked about joining back in 2010, they were doing a thing called the Gap Experience.
Yes.
So Baby Gap went out looking for a guy that sounded like Charlie, and he came up on my YouTube video. So he discovered me from YouTube.
Okay. Had that same sound. And
Same sound, same vibe, and everything.
I mean, you
and,
sound just like him. You could have been a backup singer. Nobody would know the difference. And it's probably why y'all getting a little kickback, a little kickback. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. We ain't gonna go too deep.
Starting to find out what's going on.
Yes, I already know. I did my research, okay?
Starting to find out what's going
I'm
on.
just trying to wait for Oliver to come on.
You destroyed the best years of my life.
My background in music basically started actually over in Europe before America. I started around 84, made my first record in 1985 with a Finnish girl. We were a duo, went on from there, met a guy from England. We hooked up, formed a band called Third Nation, had our first top 10 Billboard hit in 1992. Then I started opening up for a lot of American acts that would come over to Europe, come over to Finland. I've opened up for Whitney Houston. I've opened up for 50 Cent, Snoop, Ja Rule, so many of them. What's her name? The woman who's got this strange voice. Oh my God. But it'll come back to me.
Not
It's just too many people.
Okay.
No. It's she's a singer, Macy Gray.
Macy, yeah.
Macy Gray's got the signature voice. So I've opened up for her, Josh Stone, the Fugees, Shaggy, a lot of people.
Who's your favorite artist to work with?
Basically, I would say it was Josh Stone. Josh Stone is a R&B. She's a white R&B singer from the UK, and she was very cool. She came over to Finland. We backed her up. She liked my voice and said, "Hey, I want to do some work with you." And that's how I got started, just doing different songs. I got into writing. I started writing a lot of songs for different people around the world. I've written for some of the biggest DJs now in the world, David Guetta, Stonebridge, Axwell, and the Swedish House Mafia, a lot of people.
How is it living here in the States after living in Finland for so long? How is it here in the States?
Wow, I would say I left the States when I was 24. So basically, I've been living in Finland now almost 40 years.
Wow.
So I've lived in Europe actually longer than I've lived in America.
Wow.
And if I've lived that long in Europe, it tells you that I ain't probably coming back to live in the States. So And I
Now,
got a family now,
yeah.
children all around, grandkids, so I'm set.
Do you know how to speak their language? You've been there long enough to get Dutch. Do
Pretty,
you know a little Dutch?
pretty
Come on with it. Chris, don't you want to hear
well.
a
No,
little
no,
Dutch?
it's
He's
actually
he's
finished.
always
The
talking about
language,
let's hear a little Dutch.
Yeah.
yeah, it's actually Finnish and Swedish that they speak
Okay.
over here, but this English is a third language because all the young kids have to learn English. If they go outside Finland, nobody understands Finnish language. It's a very difficult language. It's kind of mixture of Hungarian and Estonian, and it's very
Wow.
difficult.
Wow.
But I managed because everybody here speaks English, and I used to be a b-boy breakdance teacher. I was actually the first guy teaching hip hop in Finland.
Yeah, I read that you did some choreography for some of the major artists, and that's how
Yeah.
you got started with Gap, Baby Gap. Is that right?
Well, no, actually, Baby Gap found me on YouTube.
Okay.
Baby Gap went out searching on YouTube for somebody who sounded like Charlie because they were doing the Gap experience.
Yes.
And Baby Gaps went out, he started searching, and when he almost gave up, he came up on my video on YouTube where I was singing Charlie Wilson's song Without You. And back in 2010, I think Charlie released that from his first solo album. So I did an a cappella of the same song and put it on my YouTube channel. And after that, all kind of people started, getting in touch with me and saying, "Hey, man, you sound like Charlie Wilson." And
Yeah.
I was just thanking everybody and saying, "Hey, thank you, and thank you for blessing my YouTube channel." And that led to Baby Gap seeing my video, and he said, "Hey, man, I'm Baby Gap from the Gap Band, man. Look, we're looking for a guy like you." And that's how everything started. And then a few years later, they told the band and Ronnie Wilson about me, and Ronnie Wilson called me up and said, "Hey, I want you to be the new lead singer of the Gap Band."
Nice.
I said,
Nice.
"It's
And
crazy."
Chris, I know you've done a lot too. Tell us a little bit about some of the things and people you've worked with because you have an extensive background as well. Tell us a little bit about some of the people you've worked with and how your history with music has really impacted the way we listen to music today because you're a technical guy.
Yeah, well, I've played for a lot of different people. I was with Regina Bell for about 10 years. Started as bass player. I ended up being her music director. So I traveled the world with her. Uh, Phil Perry, traveled with him, Glenn Jones, with him, some jazz artists, Peter White, got Les McCann. I can go way back. Let me see if you remember this name. Let's see. Let's see how good you are.
Okay.
David Peaston.
Oh, David Peaston. Yes, of course.
I
Of
played I played for David Peaston.
Wow.
After he was on, he did the Apollo 112 times, and then
Yes.
he got signed.
Yes.
So I played with him. I've played with Kelly Rowland. I've played with Beyonce. I've played with Wayne and Juvenile. So my career has spanned to a lot of between. I've played rap. I've done country. I've done gospel. I came up in church.
Yes.
My father was a pastor, so through church, I've had an opportunity to perform with a lot of the gospel greats through conferences, and they have the conventions every year. So I've played with Clark Sisters before, and all that kind of stuff. So I've had a vast, a career of playing different types of music and styles that brought me to where I am right now. And of course, my favorite music to play though is funk. I love
Yes.
funk. Always love funk. I
Funk
love Victor.
does funk does something to us, doesn't it? Funk is
Funk.
it's a whole genre of a
It's
mixture.
a
It's
whole
almost like a
yes,
gumbo. You
yes.
mix a
I
little
love
jazz, you got a little
yes,
R&B, you got a little rock and
yes,
roll. Funk is
yes,
just you can
yes,
put the strings
yes.
in there and just
Absolutely.
drums and it just goes for it. I would say this, what would be you could say anything, Chris. What would you say to the young people that are hearing this? You've been at the business a long time, and I'll ask, hold on just a second. I'll ask the same thing of you too, Maxie. But you've been in the business a long time. What would you say to the young people about? And we're gonna play your song as we're getting out of here. What would you say to the young people about keeping it moving, even though you've done a lot of work in the past, over 30, 40 years of work in this
Right.
business,
Right.
and you're still coming up with new things because you all have a new record. Are you guys gonna do an actual album?
Actually, yes. There are already songs that we already have that already been written for GapX project that's just in the can. You
Okay,
know, that some of those songs of Maxie he's already written, and other member Roman have already written, Oliver already written. So we already have those songs. So there will be a full project that GapX will present.
awesome, awesome. What
Absolutely.
would you say, Maxie, to the young people? Encourage some of the young people. You've been in Finland now 40 years. Encourage some of the young people to kind of step out of their comfort zone. Sometimes they get offered opportunities and they're nervous about taking those opportunities, but you've seemed to make a very comfortable life for yourself outside of our regular norm of Hollywood or New York. So give us a little bit of motivation on that.
Well, I would say to stay true to yourself. And the most thing I would say, the most important thing is believe in yourself. And
Yes.
you'll go very far, but you got to work hard, believe in yourself, keep yourself motivated, and stay on the right path.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have another session with you guys because I want Oliver to come in. Oliver Scott was really instrumental in the Gap Band, and people know
Yes.
he was one of the original team of the Gap Band. So I want to make sure he comes on too. So well, you next time I have you all, you're gonna come. You're gonna come back and sit with me, Chris. You're gonna come
Oh,
back
yeah.
and sit with me for
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
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 All right,
Absolutely.
Maxie, thank you so much. We're gonna play. I'm gonna have your music. Everybody needs to know.
Thank you.
Is it everybody wants to know? Oh, there's
Ev-
Oliver. Oliver finally
Every,
came in.
everybody's gonna know.
Everybody's gonna know. See, I'm trying to do that English thing.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Oliver, you made
Oh,
Hey, how you
it.
doing?
oh,
I got like 5 minutes on the Zoom. You know how Zoom does, but welcome again to Marlanna J. Today we have some special guests in the house. I'm telling you, if y'all know anything about funk music, this band has come back together again in a different way with some different folks that have that same funky sound and beat. And I have some veterans on the line here with me today, sitting in here to talk with me about their new project. And so, without further ado, Gap X, the band, is with Marlana J. Okay, all right. Oh,
Hey, what's
wish
going
I
on,
had
girl?
some of that.
Good to see you. Good to be here.
Yes, good to be here.
And
Good to be here.
Oliver, you came in and sat down with me today. I'm so glad we have you to talk to because, see, I remember the days being in the concerts and going nuts. And
Yeah, yeah.
just tell us a little bit about the experience of being with such a dynamic band, one, and then how you're transitioning into this new era of music because the young people are still doing their thing, right? But what I know is our generation still loves good music too.
Yeah.
And so you have been able to bring two generations together. You got young folk and some veterans in your band to give it that special and unique sound. So talk to us a
Well,
little bit, Oliver.
yeah, well, being a part of the band, I was in my 20s when I got in the band. I think I was 24 in 1979 when I got in the band. So that makes me, I'm pushing up on 70 real hard right by now. But I feel good. And getting in the band at such an early age, first of all, the two things that I wanted to do most was to be in a band and write songs. So Earth, Wind, and Fire and Stevie Wonder, those were my heroes. To
Yeah.
actually connect with a band, with the Gap Band at such an early age, almost by chance. I met these guys. I saw them first in Tulsa, Oklahoma, because I moved there my oldest brother lived there. And so I saw them and I was like, wow, this is the best band I ever seen live in person. I'm from a small town in Texas, Waco. And to see these guys in Tulsa, and I mean, they were funky. They were funky. I mean, I'm like, this is the kind of band I want to be in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so my brothers and I, we had a band, but we weren't as polished as these guys. And so they came to see us as they moved to LA. The night they moved to LA, they came to drop by the club we were playing at in Tulsa, and they saw me playing keyboards and singing lead vocals with my brother's band. And they were like, wow, man, these guys are bad, because we were brothers, they were brothers. So after moving to LA, I was in school, my last semester in school at City College there as a music major. And one of my older brothers went by the Gap Band's rehearsal. I didn't even know they were doing a record. They had finished a record and were about to release Shake. And my brother went by their rehearsal and said, after he went by their rehearsal, he called me and he said, hey Oliver, man, Gap Band is auditioning for trombone players, man. And you should go by and check it out. So the very next day I got out of school, I went by the rehearsal to audition. As it turned out, they had already hired a trombone player, and but he wasn't there that day. So they were still taking auditions. They had hired this guy named Bernard, and Bernard's a great player. I know him, matter of fact, rest in peace. He's gone. But I came to rehearsal, audition. They loved me. They had seen me before in Tulsa. So kind of saw me as, oh, we know this guy. They didn't know I played trombone, though. So when I got there, they were like, oh, we hiring him. He played trombone and keyboards and sing. And so that's how I got the gig. So it was an exciting time. I just finished up school. First gig we did was in Chicago. They put us up in the Hyatt Regency. I was on the 26th floor. Little boy from Waco. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is the dream come true. So that was my start with the band, with the Shaky Booty tour. I ended up doing the whole tour with them. And of course, being a very young man, a lot of good experiences, some challenging experiences, but eventually, I got to write for them, co-wrote Yearning for Your Love, actually brought the song, and the brothers loved the song.
I have to say, that's my favorite.
Right on. Well, I'm glad.
On the B-side. He used to get on the B-side all the time.
Yeah.
People's like, what? You listening to what?
Yeah,
like, have y'all heard Yearning? Like, that is joy. Yeah.
So it was great. It was a great experience. I got to write, like, after I'd been in the band a couple of years, got to write for them. Brought the song. The brothers added their little twist to it. Robert on the bass added a little something to it. And it ended up being a song co-written between myself and Ronnie Wilson, who was their oldest brother. Both Ronnie and Robert are both gone now. But then, of course, Charlie's unique voice, he put it on it. And it has become a classic. Even though it wasn't a #1 single, it went as high as #4 in R&B charts. And so that's kind of like my little claim to fame. Now I live here in the Houston area, and everybody that knows Oliver Scott wrote Yearning for Your Love. They really give me a lot of respect, probably some of it that I don't deserve, but I really appreciate it. And so it's an exciting time. But now, Robert died in 2010. Yes. And Robert's, one of his great dreams was to get the band back together. The band broke up, I think, in Charlie went solo in 05, 06, something like that. He left the band. Yeah. He actually left the band. The band didn't break up. Yeah. He left the band to do solo. And so Ronnie pulled the band wanted to get back together in 2010, but the money for the purses wasn't enough for him. So he opted out and said, man, you guys go ahead. And so that's when we started to work on putting Gap Experience together. And we've shortened it to Gap X. And Chris was there. Chris was there in 2010, 11.
He was telling us about it.
He was at the very first Gap X rehearsal. Chris was there playing bass and hadn't been in the band before, but with this new rebirth of the band, Chris was there, Roman, Billy, some of the other guys. Man, it was great, but putting the band back together has really been tough. And just recently, right after that, in 2016, we did pull in a lead singer, Max, who was on the phone earlier. Charles, should be back here in a minute.
He should come back, but Max, I got enough on Max. Max has a Charles Wilson sound.
Yeah.
His voice is so sultry.
Oh my God, he can
get anything, he can hit any note, any key.
And listen, he's so fast in the studio. I mean, you take this guy in the studio, and once he knows what he's gonna do, boom, he does it, he doubles it, and we move on to the next. he works in a modular fashion. And old school, we work linear. We start a song at the beginning, we go to the end.
Right.
He chops it up. He said, let me do this line. Then he goes to the next line, which is a different way of doing it, but he's very good at it and works very quickly. But we added him in 2016 with Ronnie, and he's been with the band ever since as our lead singer. And so it's been a good experience. And so now we're thanks to Ed, he's put us back together and emphasized, hey man, y'all need to put a record out. You need to put a record out. I know y'all great. You got good old school songs that y'all did back in the day. You need to put something new out. And so fortunately, we had some stuff ready, and he heard Everybody's Gonna Know, and was really just like, man, this is a song y'all need to put out. Y'all need to put this song out. Yeah. I mean, Ed has experience and the ear to know out of all the stuff he heard. We got some good stuff. He heard that one and said, hey, this is the one we need to put out. And so he's been very instrumental in getting it back out there and bringing people like you into the mix as well. And so we're excited about the new single, man. Everybody's Gonna Know. And it's an exciting time that all of us are in a different season of our life, but we're still excited about doing music. And Chris is a little younger than the rest of us. He's the youngest one in the band now. So he brings some of that youth. He ain't a baby, but I'm saying he's younger than us. And so he brings some young, youthful energy, part of the hip hop generation. You know, hip hop's 50 years old now.
Yeah.
And so
I had Ian Burke, who helped start some of that hip hop in Atlanta.
Yeah. So Chris grew up with the hip hop generation and some old Gap band stuff. And so it's a smorgasbord of really good things that are part of the ingredients of what we're trying to do now. You know, doing that old Gap stuff, doing Everybody's Gonna Know. And we got a few other songs in the cans that hopefully we can get out later on this year. I'm so glad to meet you, girl. You are fine. I'm sorry.
Is there gonna be a album? You're gonna just do a couple of more singles and see what kind of feel you get, or
I like Everybody's Gonna Know. We've got some other stuff in the cans. Now, Chris is not going to tell you about his brother, who before Max C was our lead singer. He has a brother. Chris, tell him a little bit about your brother.
Yeah, Chris.
Daryl.
Shout out. Yeah. Is your brother doing his own project now?
Daryl's a bad boy. He can sing and he's a writer. So you talking about writing? Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so my brother Daryl, we're 3 years apart. He's younger than I am, but singer, writer, producer. He's a musician. He plays keys. He plays guitar.
Yeah,
you know. So he's very talented, meticulous in what he does. Mm-hmm. And so when I came to the group, and I remember we was having some audition for some other singers. I was like, hey, what about my brother? Mm-hmm. You know, so it was actually a fit. And the thing was different about him and Maxie is that he doesn't sound like Charlie, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay because he has his own personality. He brought his own thing to the table, and he is a natural stage kind of guy. I mean, he's a speaker too.
Yeah. I saw the YouTube. I think that was him on the YouTube.
Yeah, that was a beast.
Former Gap Experience concert. Y'all
right.
I think I seen him because
hey y'all,
stage.
Yeah. There's my alarm going off. I had it set for 2:45. Should have been 1:45, huh?
There you go.
I'm so glad you guys stopped by and took some time out from your crazy schedules.
We're glad to be a part of
the new project.
Yeah, anybody who wants to be a part of what we're doing and help us, like you have an audience that follows you, and anytime you play our music, we're super grateful for it and excited about being online. I know I was late getting here today, but man, I'm just so happy to have Ed's pool of friends and acquaintances to help us get this.
I don't know what happened to Ed. Ed just
he was having some issues.
Yeah, I appreciate him even bringing you guys to this platform. Bayshore is going to play your music. Yeah. We're going to have your music being played on Bayshore and Big Shot Radio. Definitely getting that out there on Heart Radio as well. And then, of course, being that you all did a Zoom with me today, I'm going to have this on the podcast. Excellent. So that it will be on YouTube. And we will, if you guys give me permission, play your music alongside this
Oh,
YouTube
yes.
platform
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
By
that
all
people
means.
can actually listen to the music as we're talking about it.
Mhm.
But I love the fact that y'all haven't lost your sound. You
Yes.
haven't lost that something special about that band sound.
Yes.
And you guys give it to us in this Everybody's Gonna Know single. So Oliver, are you playing the keys on this one? What are you playing on this one, on this
I
song?
actually I sang if you hear the voice change, I sang the second verse
Okay.
and sang some background vocals on it. After Charles did, Max, he did most of the vocals already. He said, he insisted, Oliver, man, you got to sing a verse. I was like, nah, man. So I sang the second verse and I did some
Okay.
support background vocals on it. And Roman did keyboard work. There's Ed. I see Ed trying to get back in. But
Yeah.
Roman did keyboard work. Primarily it was Charles, myself, and Roman did most of the stuff. But it fits all of us. And we've actually performed the song live and it sounds great. We enjoy doing it.
And I know your next performance is going to be, I think y'all have a few live shows coming up. Where's your next show lined up? Where is
You
it
have to
at?
talk to Ed about that. Ed got the goods on that.
Where can we find the
He's
Gap
back just in time.
Gap
Just in
Where,
time, just in time. I'm actually looking at Chicago. We're looking at Chicago, St. Louis. We're gonna kick off probably in the Midwest area. So
Okay.
Kansas City, and then eventually we're gonna work our way, go down to Carolinas and then head on out where you are.
Yes.
That's right. Come to the ATL. You know we're gonna do
That's
it
it.
right with you all when you come.
That's
And
it. Looking
make sure
forward.
that funk is in the house, right?
Yes.
We ready for it. We ready for it. We ready for all
ATL,
that.
the Black Mecca.
There's so many y'all on the stage. You just go for it. You got two
Yeah.
guitars and
Yeah.
bass and
Yeah.
keyboards and drums. Y'all just do it.
When we come to the ATL, I don't know. I'm looking. I might move to the ATL. I love it there so much.
I love it. I love it. You're out there in Texas, right, Oliver?
Yeah, I'm in the Houston area, right outside Houston, a little suburb called Missouri City, but it's Houston.
Okay.
It's
All
Houston.
right.
Yeah, so.
Well, anybody that sees this, of course, they're everywhere. You got California, Texas, DC, wherever you all hear this, and just look for them to come to your city
I'm into
soon.
you.
And thank you so much for allowing them to take time out with me today.
We
And
appreciate
Chris,
you.
thank you so much for being on with us.
Yes.
Young brother coming in,
No
bringing
problem.
some fresh new sound and
Yes.
giving it to us with a traditional splice on there. And that makes it real nice. And of course, Oliver, thank you so much. I'm honored to be in the presence of someone that's so gifted and talented with any kind of instrument. You give this brother, I believe I was at a concert and you took the bongos or something and just started going crazy. Was that you?
I may have been. It's been. You know what? Listen, I'm gonna say. Yeah, that probably was me. It's been so long. I forgot. It probably was me though.
Yeah, but you guys, thank you so much. Sitting down
Hey,
with
look,
me.
we thank you. Thank you and your team. And I know if the guys already said it, the record's available everywhere. On all the platforms. And we're going to reach out to you probably in the next couple of days, invite you to one of the shows that's driving distance from Atlanta. Okay.
Yes.
There
Definitely
you go.
do that. Have me some tickets so I can bring my team, but definitely look forward to doing that and supporting you all in any form or fashion that I can. All right. You guys have a great day. Be blessed. And if there's anything you want to give to the people, give me an encouragement. Oliver, you go first. Give them something good.
Don't give up. Whatever you pressing towards trying to accomplish, don't give up. And you keep doing it until everybody knows about it.
Everybody gonna know. There you go.
Yeah.
Ed, you want to give us something?
Hey, I'm gonna say this: where opportunity meets preparation, stay ready. These guys constantly rehearse, practice, they're ready. And that's the word to everyone else. Where opportunity meets preparation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay
Which
ready.
means to say, be prepared.
That's it.
The saying goes, it's better to be prepared for something that has not happened to have it to happen and not be prepared.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
every day, get up and just be prepared. Even if it hasn't happened yet, be prepared.
There you go. That's
I
it.
couldn't have said it better myself. Marlanna J signing off with some of the funkiest sound out today. Gap X, the band. You guys, look out
Thank
for
you.
them. They're coming
God
back
bless.
strong. Everybody's got to know is their
Yeah.
new single. You all have a great day. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
stopping by
You're
with
the
Marlanna
same.
J.
Bye. Take
All
care.
right.
Even call my mom and tell her how you